It seems to be the same goal, and is that to nationalize police?
Yes, it is. And there's actually a false solution involved in this too, by the way, if I can interject that. Because one side, the Marxists, the openly Marxists, say that we need to defund the police or get rid of them, have the federal government come in. Usually hidden within that agenda, though, is that's the first step. The second step is then the United Nations. But on the other side, the people who want law and order, that want more police and all of that, they have a similar program that reaches the same goal, only in a longer period of time. In other words, the left wants federalism right now. The right wants to fund the local police departments with equipment, hiring, police reform on a national scale and all that stuff, which leads to federal control in the long run because the federal government will always control what it finances. So one's the short way and one's the long way, but both of them are wrong. So the way the John Birch Society advocates is to keep our police departments independent, under local control by the city councils. And it can be funded locally. A lot of things that the city councils put in their budget are not necessary.
You've served on the city council, right?
I've served on my city council. I've also served as the head of support local police committees.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the police want to do a good job. I mean, they are servants of the community, and they feel that way.
Yeah.
And it must just be heart-wrenching to them to see what's going on in the way in the media and other attacks against them when they're just trying to do a good job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Matt, would you say that there are some who are not? So, I mean, there's got, obviously, like with everything else, there's some bad apples out there. What would we say to those who are like, clearly there still is. There's some bad apples. There's corruption. We know that there's in New York City, I believe, it used to have a massive problem, and it's renowned for its corruption, and obviously it can't be the only one. So what do we say to those folks? Because that's going to be exploited too, I imagine. They're like, oh, there's corruption, so we need transparency, we need police review boards and whatnot. What do we say to folks who say, okay, well, what do we do about the corruption and everything that's happening within police forces?
I think the first step is we have to acknowledge it. I mean, it is out there, but again, it's that small percentage. And then we need to really focus on what we can do to work together to bring those things to light, and then hold those individuals accountable. I think that's the big thing that we're seeing in law enforcement is there's been a lot of accountability that's that society has wanted, and we've begun with everybody having cameras and all those things, and
Yeah.
I mean those things all help towards some of that, but at the end of the day, if the police are the only ones who are being held accountable, and there's no accountability that goes to the judicial system and to people being released without bonds and things like that, there's just that accountability stops at law enforcement then. So I think it's again really just working with your local police departments to identify if there are some issues that could lead to corruption and make sure that they're dealt with swiftly.
One of the things that we need to always keep in the back of our mind is the axiom that was coined by Lord Acton, the British nobleman. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're going to build a power structure of a federal police, can you imagine what kind of corruption that would be in the long run with no recourse?
Well, look what we're seeing just from the FBI and the DOJ.
Yes.
I mean, they almost went after parents who protested at PTA meetings.
Yes, but the thing about the local police is there are at least 11 things that you can do to take care of local corruption or a local bad police department or an individual or something of that nature. You've got the internal affairs. You've got the chief of police. You've got the city attorney. You've got the mayor. You've got the council. You've got the county commissioners. You've got the county attorney. You've got the state attorney. You've got the legislature. I mean, all sorts of things that you can take care of these things locally.
Yeah.
You don't have to involve the federal government.